nakita namin, nagsimula po ito dahil nakita namin sa maraming lumalabas na pag-aaral, no? In many studies, we see that the Philippines is actually identified as the highest um, natural hazard prone among all East Asian and Southeast Asian countries and ranks as part of the top 10 globally. So, ito po siya, this is fact. Pero pagdating naman po sa action na ginagawa ng ating bansa, no? Hindi po tayo nandun sa top countries na may ginagawa para sa kanya. So this figure tells you our performance index, no, according to how are we in terms of climate mitigation and climate adaptation. So nandun po tayo sa medium and even high to medium rank, no. So kulang pa, knowing na tayo nga yung pinakatatamaan, hindi pa enough yung ginagawa natin. And we think the reason for this is pag minention mo ang climate change sa karamihan ng Pilipino, ang una lang nilang iisipin ay yung init, no? Especially since kagaya ng a few days ago, sumobra ang init natin. Doon nila mas siya na-associate. They do not realize how much it will actually impact every aspect of their life. So, noon pong kasagsagan ng COVID pa rin, no? Independent of each other, the National Science and Technology Task Force on Climate Change realized that it should actually organize technical experts in order to create climate-related webinars and encourage yung next generation to participate through the regional DOST. At the same time, the Outstanding Women for Nation Service realized also that it should increase public awareness in terms of climate change. So nakita niya na may role din siya dito. So we were able to join the two organizations together and each one played their strengths. So ang NIST, naisip niya, ang dami niyang experts, no, in different fields of science. And ang towns naman, marami siya actually communicators, no? Maraming mga media personalities, maraming mga online influencers. So, ang inisip niya, pwede siya mag-create ng media buzz para mas marami pa ang mag-attend sa mga ganitong webinars. So, together, these two organizations decided it will create 4 climate-related webinars from 2021 to 2022. So, yun po yung unang nangyari. Okay, so, and I'll show you just a few slides on what happened with that collaboration. So, ang nangyari po, binigyan namin ng 4 na parang guide questions yung mga iimbitahin namin magsalita. And the first one is, ano yung mga recent scientific findings and experiences in terms of vulnerability of the Philippine development plans as climate change risk interacts with other stressors? Question 2, how can we influence development to simultaneously address these stressors in a climate change lens? And then number 3, how can we fully harness the potentials of science and technology and innovation to put the Philippines into the pathway of being a climate resilient country with sustainable development? And then number 4, what enabling policies then and governance systems should be put in place to realize a climate resilient and sustainable development Philippines, both in the short, middle, and long term. And then at the end of each of the talk, we also asked experts and also the participants if they could recommend ways forward to be used as a call to action. Okay, so nangyari po, nagkaroon talaga ng 4. Yung una po ay tumutok muna dun sa pagbabago, no? So, and health. So, ano ang mangyayari sa health ng mga tao as your climate change? It was moderated by Miss Karen Davila from Towns. And then ang speakers po natin ay sila Carlos Primero Gondran, sila Director Esperanza Cabral, sector, si Academician Glenn Gregorio for food, and then si Dr. Maria Sofia Amara for food and nutrition. No? So, ang unang tutok ay pagkain at health. Okay, so yung pangalawa naman po na ginawa natin ay tutok more on resilient of sustainable development. So ang development mo na naisip namin is related to water, no? From so ridge to reef, forestry, lowland water, and then marine. So ang tatlo pong nagsalita ay si Academician Rex Cruz, Academician Guillermo Tabios, at si Academician Annette Menyes. No? Ito naman po ay minoderate ni Miss Chara Zambrano. And then yung susunod po na nangyari ay the next two were moderated by Miss Cara David Cancio. And yung una po dito na nangyari ay tungkol sa education naman, no? Education and energy. What are we supposed to do in terms of preparation in education and energy as we face climate change? At dito po si Academician Alvin Culaba ang nagsalita at si Academician Fabian Diary. No? We also invited reactors from both education sector and the sector of sa ating Congress na sila din ang tumututok sa mga possible action plans. No? Si Congresswoman Stella Kimbo and si Miss Carmina Bayumbong from education. And then finally, we had the last one for the series, which was making sure that future generations are also climate proof, no? So dito we had Honorable Vice Mayor Coro from Del Carmen, Siargao. Pinakita niya kung anong ginagawa on the ground ng Siargao in preparation. And also we had Dr. Sombilia from NEDA to share with the audience kung ano ang mga preparations na ginagawa ng bansa natin. Yun po. So those were the four talks, initial talks, and tinignan namin yung statistics ng mga sumama, and most were actually youth, no? From age 14 to age 29, yun yung pinakamarami na nanood. And we had more women than men, more female than male that were listening. In order to encourage the younger generation, we also made badges, digital badges. So kung nakapanood sila nung apat, they were able to claim these 4 badges that they can put on their own social media para alam ng ibang tao na they have attended these webinars and are aware. No? So ito naman, contribution to ng DICT sa atin. So kung nanood sila ng una, they get the tree grower, yung pangalawa, the ocean saver, the third is the earth guardian, and then the fourth is a climate warrior. So ito naman po yung mga science communication, no? Hindi ko alam na ito palang generation na ito ay very excited pagdating sa digital mga digital stickers na makukuha nila. So ito po yung ginawa. So it just shows you that we need different disciplines in order to actually raise awareness about climate change. So we had our academicians, of course, no, for the technical knowledge. We had our media to who are savvy in communications, and then you had the technical people na sila naman ang kilala nila itong generation na to and what makes them more interested in any topic. Pagkatapos po nun, so those were just for awareness, no, that apat na talks. And then we realized we wanted to do more together. And yung result po ng analysis using 25 years of data sa Pilipinas, this is a DOST-sponsored project called Ice Cream and then later renamed as Resilient Seas, showed that the Philippines naturally clusters into 11 different types of exposure. Ang ginamit po ditong datos ay puro remote sensing using data on temperature, data on precipitation, data on wind, and data on sea level. And nakita na ang Pilipinas ay hindi homogeneous, no? Hindi siya pare-pareho, and therefore ang ating kailangang response ay very site-specific din. For example po, makikita nyo karamihan ng sites on the Pacific side ay maraming kailangang pag-isipan. They will, historically, this is what has been happening. And if this is remains the trend in terms of climate, no, it means that these areas will continue to experience extreme heating events. Ito po yung nagkukos ng coral bleaching, yung biglang init sa isang lugar at nagtatagal yung init na yon ng more than 4 weeks sa dagat and causing coral bleaching. Meron na rin pong tuloy-tuloy in 25 years data na increasing ocean temperature. So even though it changes with amihan and habagat, with the monsoons, the average has increased through the years, no? Every year pataas ng pataas yung average. And then yung extreme rainfall events, ito po yung kagaya ng Ondoy na the entire month's rainfall fell in just a few hours, no? So ito yung hindi natin akalain na pwede pala ito mangyari. And then finally there's a disturbed water budget. Ang disturbed water budget po ay sa tingin natin dapat ay tag-ulan na, pero hindi pa rin umuulan. Or sa tingin natin ay tag-init na, pero ulan pa rin ang ulan. No? So mali na yung ating alam sa ating seasonality. So disturbed na yung water budget. And then finally, may sea level rise. And if you look at the entire Philippines, si sea level rise po, makikita nyo sa lahat ng cluster. Ito po ay dahil ang Philippines is located in the west part of the biggest ocean, which is the Pacific. And as each of the ocean actually expands due to thermal heating, ito po, because the currents are directed towards the Philippines, then that extreme sea level rise is actually felt here in Papua New Guinea and in Japan. No? So talagang everywhere in the Philippines, sea level ang magiging problema. So some areas, yun lang, sea level lang, which is right in the middle of the Sulu Sea, in the Sulawesi Sea, no? Yun lang kanilang kailangan isipin. But in some areas, kagaya nga ng Pacific, marami silang kailangan paghandaan. Okay, so ito yung alam natin. So therefore, we said, kailangan malaman to ng LGUs, no? Kailangan ang response nila ay based on this, at that time, the best known science of what will happen in the Philippine waters. Okay. So what we did was we did a further analysis. And we said, okay, let's engage the LGU. So this time, sabay na nagplano ang NAST at ang towns to engage LGUs and increase climate awareness and adaptation. No? Gusto natin ang endpoint action plan na. May adaptation na gagawin yung LGUs. Okay. So from there, further analysis. So this analysis, we did this at MSI. Kasama po si academician Rod Asansa in this analysis. And what we did was we overlaid yung nakita nating trends in climate. We overlaid that on known existing, also remotely sensed areas of mangrove and corals. Tapos pinakita natin, along with yung alam nating na-experience na nila in climate change, ano-ano yung mga lugar na pinakatatamaan. At sea level rise po ang ginamit nating initial na pang identify ng priority sites. Kasi ang dahilan namin sa sea level rise, why it became the priority, one, it's all over the Philippines. Second, a lot of our poor, a lot of our brothers and sisters who live in coastal areas will be are located right now in areas that will be inundated in just a few decades, no? And then finally, yung fisheries nila, lalo na kung mangrove related yung fisheries nila, tatamaan din ito kasi mangrove forest ang pinakatatamaan ng sea level rise. So we were able to identify saan-saang lugar ang dapat i-prioritize. And as you can see, for example, highlighted here is the BARM in Region 12. So Sulu, Tawi-Tawi, Cotabato, yun. And we were even able to identify kung anong municipality yung pinakatatamaan. So using this analysis and also the analysis of number of fishers per coastal area, so sino yung pinaka makikinabang na malaman tong datos na ito? Yun yung prioritize na puntahan. So we then said we will go to Mindanao, Visayas, and Luzon para makausap yung mga LGUs, no? Para malaman nila ito, tingnan namin yung pinaka-kailangan nila malaman and then get feedback from them kung ano na yung ginagawa nila and ano pa yung kailangan nila gawin. So when we did this, um, the first area we went to was in the Visayas area. Dahil nga sila yung tinamaan ng Haiyan, and we wanted to see kung paano na sila nag-build back better, paano na sila nagpa-plan ahead, no? Looking forward. Ito po ay hosted by Tacloban, and there were LGUs from all over the Visayas who came. So merong Leyte, Samar, Eastern and Northern Samar, Iloilo, Bohol, and Cebu representatives who came. Marami rin pong tumulong na ang private company, either gave support for the workshop to happen or they actually shared what the companies are also doing in terms of mitigation and supporting adaptation or carbon sequestration, no? And then meron din pong nagpakita ng mga circular economy na yung kanilang mga dating waste ay nagagamit na ngayon sa ibang bagay para hindi na siya waste. And then we invited, of course, our experts. So NST provided the experts, so academician Rex Cruz, Annette Menyes, Cesar Villanoy, and Glenn Gregorio were able to go there and share their expertise in terms of ano yung pwedeng pinakamararamdaman ng Visayas area. So ito po yung picture ng participants. We then went to Mindanao. So nung punta kami sa Mindanao, ito naman po ay hosted ng General Santos. Ang LGUs po na nakarating ay Sarangani, Sultan Kudarat, Cotabato, South Cotabato, and Agusan del Sur. Ganun din po, no? Marami tayong kaibigan sa private companies that actually provided for support and also shared what they're doing. Marami rin pong LGUs na mention na nag-contribute din po in terms of stories. Ano na yung nagawa nila na nag-work at ano yung mga nagawa nila na hindi nag-work. Importante po kasi ito, no? So that we have lessons learned from other LGUs para hindi na ulitin pa ng iba. The speakers here were academician Rex Cruz, si Secretary Solidum came from the UST, RD Malawan, and then my group again. And I'll show you that in more of that in a while. And then finally, we decided we'll do 2 clusters in Luzon. Dalawa po kasi magkaiba talaga ang Pacific sa West Philippine Seaside. So inuna muna namin ang West Philippine Seaside and this was hosted by Bataan. Ang LGUs po na natulungan ay Pampanga, Bulacan, Bataan, Zambales, Pangasinan, La Union, and Ilocos Sur. Again, we had a lot of private companies help. And in addition, we also had people's organization, Alyansa ng mga Bayan ng Bulacan, who shared their story and gave us a presentation of their proposed adaptation. No? Andun din po ulit si Akad Cruz. This time we were lucky to have National Scientist Luli Cruz, si Academician Ando Siringan, and then si Attorney Cuenca of the Climate Change Commission para po magbigay sa atin, i-share yung pag-access ng People Survival Fund. Kasama po dito sa mga workshops na ito, hindi lang kwento, hindi lang mga pinapakita ng mga scientists natin yung kanilang kaalaman, no, sinishare. We also made them participatory. So there are 2 sessions in 2 afternoons, no, magkasunod na afternoon. One session focused on a tabletop game called Resilience, Survive, and Thrive. Ano po ito, naka-copyright sa UP Diliman, but available na siya commercially. And this is a game that helps you balance between development and surviving the climate change, no? So ang take-home message po dito ay syempre i-develop natin to the maximum ang ating resources pero not to the point that when climate change hits, wala na po tayong natural resources that will help us maintain our resilience. No? So kunyari po, sa isang lugar, pwede tayong mag-develop ng maraming coastal na industries, pero not to the point na uubusin natin ang ating mangrove forest kasi pag dumating po ang storm surge, makikita niyo yung point sa baba, pag ang mangroves niyo po ay manipis, marami, so yung nasa doon po sa storm surge card, sa kaliwa po ay dami ng mangrove, no? Kapal ng mangrove. Yun po sa kanan ay dami ng damage. So makikita niyo po, mas konti ang mangrove, mas marami sa mga industries ang madadamage. So sayang din yung mga pinuhunan ng mga communities. So ganun po siya, it's a balance game. And patapos po nun, so that's the first day. The second day po, we develop a decision support system from a Bayesian belief network software. And it's called Reef Baby kasi it's a coral reef Bayesian belief model. And here we see, kasi ang dami naman talaga nakaka-apekto kay coral, no? Alam naman natin yung concept na rich reef, pinakita kanina dun sa video. And that means anything we do on the watershed side and also anything we do on the coast and anything we do in the water can affect the health of your coral reef and therefore consequently also affect your potential to get food from the coral reef. No? So marami pong pwedeng gawin na intervention. Pwede siyang gawing marine protected area, pwedeng alisin lahat ng bad fishing like dynamite fishing, pwedeng bawasan ng konti yung mga mariculture kasi nagbibigay din yun ng maraming pataba doon sa lugar, increasing the possibility of eutrophication, increasing the possibility of fish kill. Pwede rin po na yung lupa natin masyado na walang forest and therefore isang bagyo lang lahat ng sediment sa bundok ay uus-us sa ating coral, matatabunan siya. No? So ang daming pwedeng gawin ng LGU. Ang tanong ay, ano yung kanilang unang gagawin? So this decision support system actually helps them test out possible management interventions and to see how effective those are against the goals that they set for themselves. So kung gusto nila ay dumami isda, alin dito ang kanilang dapat gawin? Kung gusto nilang mas lumago yung coral, ano yung kailangan nila gawin? And then another addition to this is a climate change lens. So even as your management intervention might work now, paano na pag nagkaroon ng storm surge? Paano na pag nagkaroon ng ocean acidification? Is your intervention still enough? Is it climate proof? Or do you need to do more? So ito po siya, no? So they make decisions, tapos pinapaandar ng grupo ko, ng lab ko, yung models right next to them, tapos nakikita nila yung results. And then the LGUs explain the interventions that they chose and the lessons that they learned from playing this model. So yun po. So ang nangyari doon, marami namang nakinabang, maraming feedback at ngayon gusto rin nila balikan yung kanilang mga development plans para tignan kung ngayon naintindihan nila hindi lang requirement yung CLUP for example, but it will actually help them protect their communities. So yun po yung una, no? Yung climate-related webinars, 4 po yun. Tapos yung 3 engagement ng LGUs. May isa pa po dapat sa Eastern Luzon. Pinaplano pa lang namin kung kailan yung gagawin. But ang final po sana nito ay magkukulminate siya sa adaptation of to adapt an LGU. Ano po? Adopt an LGU. Ano po ibig sabihin nun? Both NAST and towns will contribute their resources. So technical know-how from NAST and then resources ng connections with the private industries, for example, sa towns to help an LGU make true kung ano yung sinabi nilang management plan na gusto nila gawin. Siyempre po ang pipiliin namin yung maraming makikinabang sa kanilang balak gawin and para siyang pilot case, no? So kung kaya ng isang LGU gawin to, kakayanin din kaya ng iba pang LGU. Yun. So, shown here is an initial consultation with the former mayor of Hagonoy in Bulacan. Hindi po namin sinasabing sila na ang aming tutulungan, pero isa po siya kasi sa talagang interested na makinabang, no, sa joint strength ng NAST at towns. So, sana po ay matuloy nga. So basically, the message is the Philippines is climate vulnerable, and climate change will affect all aspects of our lives, from health, food, energy, stability of our industry, and also finally the inundation of our coastal communities. No? So we need more initiatives to bring the knowledge on the ground, share successful and unsuccessful climate adaptation initiatives, and foster cooperation between the public and private institutions. So yun po sana. No? We are welcome to more suggestions and more cooperations and collaborations. Yun lang po ang share ko today. Maraming salamat.
Naku, ma'am, maraming salamat po sa napakagandang insight at presentation. So, ngayon po, nalalaman ko na po at napatunayan ko na po kung bakit hindi na ganun kalimig ang December because of climate change. So now we're going to open our floors sa ating pong mga panelists, sa ating pong mga attendees. We're going to entertain your questions and inquiries. So, meron po ba tayong question? Naku,
Mark, I
ma'am.
think Academician Villaruel has a question.
Yes, ma'am. Medyo ano lang po. Yes po. Teka lang po ha. Yes, Sir Villarreal.
Villareal, yes.
Sorry po ha. Medyo ano lang po itong aking screen. Let's...
Naka-mute si Academician Villarreal.
Okay. Ano? Pasok na ba ako?
Opo, sir.
Can you hear me? All right. First of all, Laura, I am very pleased to see you after a long, long time. Kamusta ka na? At kamusta na ang nanay mo? Okay, so paratingin mo yan, no, ha? I told that Tita Cora that you're on the screen. And sabi niya, kamusta tayo? Okay. I have a very simple question, which I think is very, very practical. Why Philippines is among the countries in Asia the most vulnerable to this type of the climate change? Anong reasons why tayong palaging nagbibira, palagi tayong number one?
Mayabang tayo, Sir Ben eh.
Ha?
Mayabang ang Pilipinas, Sir Ben eh. Kasi ano po, tayo talaga ang unang salo ng Pacific. That's the problem. Oo. So we are the gatekeepers between the Pacific and the rest of Southeast Asia. So everything goes through us first. Bagyo goes through us first. Sea level rise will go through us first. A lot of the temperature changes, even during El Nino and La Nina, are felt in the Philippines first. So it's really our geographical location that makes us highly vulnerable. In addition, we have quite a high population. So we're top 10 top 12, 10 to 12 in the most populous country in the world, even though we're not that big. So, ang taas po talaga tuloy ng ating vulnerability.
All right. Among the recommendations which have been making to our government, anong mga recommendations naman ang nabibigyan ng attention?
Good question, sir. I think nakikinig naman on a local level, on the LGU level. Those LGUs that are really interested in fortifying their resilience to climate change, nagsimula na po sila mag-build ng essential infrastructure like their evacuation centers, their hospitals, their schools. They have started building them dun sa hindi tatamaan ng sea level rise at hindi tatamaan ng mga storm surges. So yun, magaling talaga some of the LGUs. In addition po, yung marine protected areas, so I liken this to somebody who has a family that has a history of heart problems. So sabi ko sa kanila, if you have a history of heart problem, if you change your lifestyle, there's a probability na hindi ka sumama sa statistics. So you know climate change is already happening. If you do not let up on other pressures in the marine environment, you are compromising your food security. So if you protect them, they have a higher probability of withstanding bigger
Ah,
storms, withstanding sea level rise. So protection po. At marami naman sa ating LGU nagpo-protect talaga sila ng kanilang marine environment.
all right. Finally, if you have to rank the local government which have been participating in this activity, can you give 5? Kung kulang sa 5, okay lang.
Baka maging persona non grata ako sa iba, sir.
Ah, Okay, wag na. Silent na lang.
Silent na lang. Tayo na lang mag-usap. Dalawin ko na lang kayo, Sir
Tayo
Ruben.
magbidahan natin, hindi ko pananabi. Again, congratulations and thank you very much. Very pleased to see you again. Regards to your family. Okay, bye-bye. Thank you.
Ako, salamat po. Ang ganda po nung sinabi ni Ma'am David tukol doon sa analysis niya ng taong may sakit sa puso at yung sabi niya na protektahan po natin ang ating marine environment para po masustain po natin ang ating pagkain. Now let's go and proceed to CM Serapika.
Okay, thank you. Nice to hear, Laura. I like to see what you guys are doing in conjunction with NAST, and we are doing a parallel assessment of the ecosystems, but more on the commercial front lately, stakeholders, and may 5 players kaming tiniimbita palagi. That's your academe, government, industry, which is your AGI typically, but we've added risk capital, the foundations, and venture capitalist kung meron man. And of course, center of it is the entrepreneur. Kasi, alam mo naman ako, I'm all about commercialization and trade. But it's really to sustain whatever effort and solutions you're able to figure out and implement, demonstrate in a small area, being able to translate that and scale it up to the other areas, you'll need an entrepreneurial and sustained risk capital to demonstrate that. So now I've been talking to Mahar, of course, at the National Resiliency Council, and I like your multi-graph of the different hazards in the different areas. That's exactly what we're saying, that every island has a different problem. I've talked to Mayor Coro and Del Carmen and Siargao. We were helping them on their School of Sustainability before. And clearly, education is one component. Pero may mga area talaga na napakahirap. Nung binanggit mo yung Hagunoy, Bulacan, may lolos from Hagunoy. And I was just talking to my cousin, and their house is right there in the poblacion. And when high tide comes in, the whole poblacion, even their church, even my tomb of my lolo gets buried in water. So, in that sense, may mga areas talaga na almost insurmountable effect that, like Hagonoy, which is going to be under sea level before, now it's even more under sea level. So I like that game. I like now how do we involve my kind? Mga entrepreneurs at saka may mga connect sa mga foundations to see that if you come up with a solution and gusto lang naman nilang marinig palagi, ginamit namin sa Hagunoy ito, nag-transplant kami or we build a seawall or whatever. Sabi ni Georgine Primavera, lagyan niya ng seawall plus mangrove, baka may pag-asa pa. Pero definitely, I'm all ears in terms of your adoption of an LGU. What worked? Because we've been helping Del Carmen with Mayor Coro for about 5 years, but more on the educational side, but not on the actual interventions. Nasira pa nga yung eskwela na papagawa natin. Lalaki dapat nung bagyo, nung December, 2 Decembers ago. So, yun lang. How do you think we should involve ourselves if you already What I like about the Towns Group, indeed, they have the communications capability. They have connections with the people with money. I saw some of the foundations there, BDO, BPI. But again, I'm also sorting out kasi among the League of Corporate Foundations who's playing in education, but equally important, who's playing in climate change. Like the Shells of the world, may konti silang ano dyan. Gokongwei Brothers are a little bit more on the scholarship, but again, I'm charting it out so that once na nakita ko sila, Laura, pwede humingi ng tulong para sa'yo. Just think about how we can help you guys in Klima. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for that offer. Definitely, we can talk to each other. Low-lying fruit, sir, is the possibility of blue carbon. Kasi no-mention yun na rin lang si Dr. Primavera. So, a win-win situation would be making, for example, a green seawall, a blue-green seawall. So, incorporating nature-based solutions. And now, since decarbonization is a big deal, or at least replacing your carbon use with carbon sequestration, there's definitely a huge market eventually for entrepreneurs to come in and tie that between the LGUs who have the resources, the LGUs who need help, and the entrepreneurs who can make that happen. So, usap tayo, sir. Thank you for the offer.
Yep. Thank you. Kasi yun din hinahanap ko, yung financing na ginagawa for carbon exchange. I need to have a model in the Philippines that has been proven to work with other coastal cities like I know Seychelles has done a very good job with their mangrove rehabilitation, getting carbon credits that get credited in Europe. Di po ganun. So maybe we can do that. Sige, balikan kita doon. Gusto ko talaga
Sige,
yung
sir.
carbon exchange na yan. Thank you.
Nako po. Ayan po ang isa sa mga kagandahan po ng ating programa. Nakakaroon po tayo ngayon ng bridging at mga taong interesado na magkaroon ng collaborative work para po magtulungan to achieve that certain goal. Now, let's proceed po muna tayo sa ating Q&A box, and then after we will go with Mr. Ike Sineres. From Mar Guidote. I don't know if tama po yung pronunciation ko. Sorry po ha. How much of information is shared with relevant national government agencies? How much of the information are translated to popular language, and how much of this is disseminated via media?
So nice. So forward-looking. Yes po. Ang relevant agencies medyo madali kasi open ang channels. Lalo na yung ating mga current na nakaupo na secretaries. They're very open to consulting the academe dito sa mga information na ito. Dun po sa translation into more popular, doon po tayo nagkukulang. Kulang talaga ang ating science communicators na kayang mag-deliver ng mga datos on different levels, no, para sa bata, para sa mga taga-high school, para naman sa mga nanay, different stakeholders sana. Panaginip ko nga, Sir Guidote, na magkaroon ng telenovela tungkol sa climate change. Baka may mas maraming makinig eh. So mga ganun, no? So we definitely need to engage our communicators ng iba-ibang media to make this more of a norm na, no? Na pag-uusapan, na pinag-iisipan ang climate change sa bawat aspeto ng Pilipinas. Yung media po, interested naman sila. We've had 2 media trainings, meaning kami train makipag-usap sa media at ang media train tungkol sa mga iba-ibang ginagawa ng mga academe in terms of climate change. Nagkaroon na po ng ganyang exchange. And nagpapatuloy naman siya, no? So if you take a look at Rappler, for example, and PDI, and so on, meron ng regularly lumalabas. Pero mas marami pa po sana. Tama yun.
Tama pa, ma'am. So, ma'am, i-relate ko rin po yung question din po from Mar Guidote. So, do we know how much of this information has been inputted to LGU's DRRM plans?
Okay. Ang ginawa po namin ay tumulong kaming gumawa ng Enhanced CLUP. Yung methodology po na nilagay namin doon ay para matulungan ng LGUs mangolekta ng datos na sila mismo, no, on the ground. So sana nga po lahat ng agencies with data like DNR, NAMRIA, PAG-asa, and all the academe, ma-share na rin tong data nito, no? Magkaroon ng isang repository, maybe perhaps under Academician Mahar, no, sa Resilience Institute, para madali siyang ma-access ng LGU. Pero maganda rin po na merong mga tools ang LGUs para sila mismo ang mangolekta ng data on the ground, yung mga madali nilang magawa at madali nilang maintindihan at matranslate into local policies. Meron din pong 2 o 3 available manuals on citizen science or teaching LGUs on how to collect data themselves and how to analyze those data. Those are readily downloadable for free sa aming websites.
Ma'am, question ko lang po ma'am, sa dami-dami po ninyong ginawa and then proven naman po na this scientific works that you're doing will be effective. Ma'am, ano po yung parang tipong frustrations nyo kapag hindi po nagmamaterialize yung inyong mga nagawa?
Pag nagpapalit po ng leadership minsan sa ating mga agencies, hindi po, kailangan po namin i-reorient na naman yung bagong leadership. Yun po. So sana po, kaya interested din kami na ang training also involves the middle management. Yung mga hindi po nagpapalit, yung career people in each of the agencies. Kasi pag sila may alam, mas madali po ulit na magpatuloy dun sa ginagawa.
Saka ma'am, ito po, i-share ko lang po. Bakit po, sa palagay niyo po, ano po dapat natin gawin bilang member po ng NAS? Ito po, kasama po natin mga panelists and mga ano po natin dito, mga academicians. Ano po dapat o nakikita niyo dapat solusyon para po ma-engage po yung mga kabataan ngayon talaga na matuto, makialam? Kasi mostly, mas magaling po tayo magmarites kaysa po sa alam mo, maging involved at maging concerned. Kasi ma'am, if hindi po may involve ang kabataan o ang general population, medyo mahirap po atang i-push tong ating advocacy.
Tama yun, Sir Mark. Ganun talaga, no? Talagang kailangan natin. Pero I have to confess, I myself do not have a personal media presence or online presence. So meron po talaga kaming in-employ dito sa Marine Science Institute na science communicators, and merong media presence merong online presence ang MSI sa lahat ng platform. So meron kaming Twitter, X, everything. Meron kami Facebook, meron kaming, I think we have 9. Ang wala na lang kami yung bagong-bago, the Blue Waves. Wala kami doon. Pero everywhere else we're present. And the way the communicators work, yung mga mas bata po kasi yung communicators namin, so naiintindihan nila yung nakakahuli ng interest ng next generation. Kasi po pag ako tinanong nyo, ibang-iba yung aking, ibang-iba yung approach to information ng batikan na teacher versus yung mga ngayon na science communicators. So kailangan po natin lahat. So sana po, if you're thinking of scholarships for future, ang kailangan po ng Pilipinas ay 3 types ng tao. Science communicators, we need to support more science communicators. Kailangan din po natin ng marine spatial planners kasi marami pong use ang ating marine environment. So kailangan po na meron talaga tayong kayang magplano in the marine environment. Marami na po tayong magaling sa terrestrials pero sa marine kulang talaga. And then finally po, dahil climate change ang pinag-uusapan, sigurado po magkakaroon ng climate change conflicts. Maraming isla natin ay malulunod, so saan sila tatakbo, maraming pagkain natin ay mapo-compromise, so ano yung kailangan natin paghandaan. Yung po mga kalakip nating bansa sa South Pacific, saan po pupunta yung mga yon pag nalunod na sila dahil sa sea level rise, no? So we have to anticipate the possibility of climate change conflicts. So kailangan po rin sana ng scholarships for that.
So yun po, ito po ay every week pong panawagan ng ating pong programa sa mga kabataan po natin dyan nakikinig, mga estudyante, kailangan po natin ng mga bagong scientist. Now let's proceed po with Sir Ike.
Good afternoon, Dr. David. Actually, I have 2 questions. Mamaya na lang yung iba. My first question, may experience ba kayo to join the regional development councils, provincial development councils para yung agenda ninyo maisama doon? Second question, nakakabili ba kayo ng satellite data? And how are you doing that? And how are you paying for it? Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Ike. So yung una po, no, hindi, marami na nga po nagsabi na kailangan i-engage ang RDCs. Tama naman po, hindi ko lang alam kung from the academe dun dapat dumiretso or dapat paakyat sa NEDA and NEDA then magbababa sa RDCs. I'm not sure. I have not personally engaged with the RDCs, pero tama po kayo. I think that's the way to go. So yun yung una. So if there's anybody who has engaged with them, it will be good, no? We can collaborate. Yung pangalawa po, buti na lang meron tayong PhilSA and we have the Philippine Space Agency helps us and and also LGUs to access satellite data. So meron naman po, may access kami both of the European and American and even Japanese na mga satellite data. So, ganun sir. Hindi ako ngayon, dati po nagbabayad ako for satellite image. Ngayon, we just make proposals sa PhilSA and they access or we make proposals directly to ESA sa Europe to access some of the data.
Are you buying from planet.com?
Sir, mayabang ako. Meron akong free access to Planet.
Oh,
Limited lang, sir. Ilan lang na data, pero meron. So, yung
they have
mga
an office
gusto namin
here, eh.
pag-aralan.
They have an office
Yes, sir.
here. Ang head nila from UP. Kasama ko sa dorm dati.
Oh, nice.
Madaling kausap. Oo.
Sige, sir.
Yeah.
Pahingi pa ng access. That will be so
Okay.
good.
Send me your
Thank you,
email.
sir. Ike. Yes, sir. Ike. Thank you.
Ano daw pong email daw po na pwede daw pong ma-send po ni Sir Ike ang kanya pong maitutulong. Hanapin ko lang po dito
Sir Mark,
sa
alam mo naman email ko, di ba?
Opo. Hanapin ko lang
Oo.
po dito. Sige Sir Ike, send ko po sa inyo mamaya yung pong email po ng admin saka po yung email po ni Doc Lau para po magkapag-communicate po kayo. Let me just proceed with the question in the chat box and then kay Academician Villarreal po tayo. So from Sandra Victoria Arcamo. Hi Lara, may I ask if the host NAST and towns have included national government agencies like DABFAR, DENR, DILG, and DHSUD in the conversation to strengthen convergence, especially with their projects, programs for LGUs, communities, and other local stakeholders benefiting from your scientific data and guidance for equitable government fund distribution?
Hi, Ma'am Sandy. I miss you. DNR po ang madalas namin kausap ngayon. Wala na kasi kayo sa DABFAR so hindi na ganun kabilis makipag-usap. Pero definitely po na i-invite ang DABFAR and also ang DILG. Ang hindi po namin ever na isama ay ang DHSUD. So baka nga no, dapat nating isama na rin 'yun. We'll think of that next time.
Thank you po. Now let's go with Academician Villarreal. Sir Ruben, may question po kayo? Sir, naka-mic po. Naka-mic. Naka-mute. Ayan
Ayun.
po.
Well, ang aking message ay simpleng-simple. Kung gusto nating ma-involve ang youth, talagang as early as possible, expose them. Personally, ang experience ko ay doon sa barangay namin sa Santo Niño, yung barangay captain, in-encourage kami. In-encourage kaming ma-involve sa mga gawain ng kabataan. Kaya na-involve ako sa Boy Scout, na-involve ako sa Rural Improvement Club, hanggang ngayon, dala ko pa yon. In other words, if you feel good in the activities that you conduct while you're still a little boy, tuloy-tuloy na yon. I think that's the reason why dito ako punta sa College of Agriculture at na-involved sa mga activities that are really involving especially the poor people. Alright, so simple message, involve natin ang youth as early as possible so that it will be ingrained in their minds that helping others is the best policy. Thank you.
Tama po. So talagang
Thank
malaki
you, Sir
pong bagay
Ruben.
yung kung saan po tayo na-exposed at ayun po is malaking impluwensya kung saan po tayo dalihin in the future. So let's proceed po muna sa ating chat box and kay Sir Cesar po after. So good day po from anonymous attendee. Ma'am, ano po ang mga large-scale factor kung bakit tumataas po yung level of heat index per city? Ano po ang mga possible solutions na maiwasan ang mga sobrang factor ng init?
So meron pong global and merong very local, no? The global problem is that's climate change. And unfortunately, like I said, being at the brunt of the Pacific, at the west side of the Pacific, talagang tayo yung pinupuntahan ng init. Pero meron din po mga local factors, no? So kunyari, swerte po ako, nasa UP Diliman ako, and I'm sure it's the same with UP Los Baños. Pag nandun kayo sa loob, because of all the vegetation, it's a lot cooler than if you're just out in the urban area. So malaking factor po ang local heating, no? So there's a term called albedo, yun yung lakas ng reflective heat that comes from the different land cover. So pag po mas mapuno, less yun. Pag po mas semento, mas malakas siya. Ganun din po yung, di ba, pag summer, nagsusuot tayo ng mas maputi para reflective siya, hindi mainit. Pag mas dark kasi mas pumapasok yung init. So there's a lot of things we can do in our very local environment that can improve. For example po, ang bahay ko puti ang bubong para hindi masyadong pumapasok. 2 degrees difference po before ko pinuti ang bubong ko versus nung green pa siya. 2 degrees difference during summer, the height of summer. So big difference yun, no? And then vegetation nga, the more vegetation we have. So sana forward looking, a lot of our environment magkaroon ulit ng puno, tama yung mga materials na gagamitin, no? Ang laki po ng difference ng semento versus for example asphalt. So pag asphalt talaga mas mainit yung kalye, pag semento a little less, no? Mangganyan. And then yung materials na gagamitin sa bubong makes a huge difference. Yun din pong paglalagay ng yung bubong ko po ay meron ding hose sa taas. Kumuha po ako ng hose mula sa babang gripo, inako ko siya sa bubong. Tapos binutas ko po yung hose ng maraming holes. So pag sobrang init na po, like kahapon, alam ni Sir Villarreal, ang nanay ko po ay 80 na rin. So pag sobrang init yung bahay, binubuksan po namin yun. So for about 10 to 20 minutes, umuulan po sa bahay ko. Kahit na yung kapitbahay ay tuyo. So lumalamig po because of evaporative transfer, lumalamig yung buong bahay. So kahit na hindi i-on parati ang aircon, ganyan, napapalamig po ang bahay. So sana yung mga ganyan, mga small things you can do for yourself. Syempre, keep cool, drink a lot, and also try and modify your environment in small ways to make sure that it's cooler.
Natawa naman ako sinabi ni Ma'am doon sa pagputi ng buhok. So ngayon alam ko na po kung bakit laging si Ma'am Luli laging cool lang sa chill. Now let's go po kay Sir Cesar.
Laura, thank you very much for an informative and insightful presentation. I just have 2 questions or 2 points. One, you mentioned the 11 exposures. I'm just wondering kung ipagdikit natin yung man-made causes like deforestation, blocked passageways of water, waste management, and even reclamation. You know, parang madyong na siguro yan, ano? Pero I think we have to bring this into consideration para mas ma-appreciate, you know. So I'm thinking of how to bring in, kasi you clustered the regions into the nature sensitivities, ano. Siguro maganda rin ano, kasi lahat merong extreme heat. Ang tanong ko, caused by ito by climate change or denuded forests, ano. So siguro ang recommendation ko, ipasok na natin dyan yung man-made. Okay. Number 2, nabanggit ni Academician Villarreal about informing, educating the students, which I second the motion. Meron kayong dalawang institutions, NAST and towns, ano? May I suggest create another institution for citizens who might be interested in climate change and join this organization lifelong yan. You know, I know I worked before with the Lopez Group, and there's the OML Climate Change Foundation. And so aside from groups, ang suggestion ko is create a citizens organization para tatlo na kayo. You know. Okay, thank you. Yun lang, dalawang yan.
Thank you, Sir Cesar. Salamat po. Opo, maganda yun, no? So, we tried to do that in some areas na may detail kami of both the land use and also of population, ganyan, para nga makita, no, bakit beyond predicted yung heating sa isang lugar, for example. So nakakita kami ng mga lugar na talagang urban heating effect talaga yung nangyayari in addition to climate. So, sige sir, subukan natin gawing nationwide. And then the other one, di ko lang alam sir sino magsisimula ng institution, but definitely maganda yon. Maybe the private sector, or maybe yung sinabi ni Sir Villarreal, Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts of the Philippines. That would be nice. Kasi I think yun yung next generation.
Okay
Thank you po.
Now, let's proceed po kay Sir Butin, and after po si Doc M, and then po si Sir Ike. Yes, Sir Butin, ano pong ating pong question?
Magandang hapon po, Ma'am Laura. Ako po ay may dalawang tanong yung isa, tapos sana yung request yung isa. Yung una na lang, ang Romblon po ay isa sa mga vulnerable na lugar kasi kami ay island province, maliliit ang aming isla. So sa ngayon ay may mga initiative na ginagawa ang aming mga LGU para magkaroon ng mga seawall. But unfortunately, yung kanilang mga actions ay disproportionate kasi yung iba ay mayroon na, yung makikita after ng seawall, kakainin ng dagat naman yung walang seawall. So, baka po pwede na ang Romblon ay mapasama doon sa inyong adapt an LGU in the future. Yung pangalawa po, nakita ko yung mga agencies na nakasama ninyo sa mga initiative, pero hindi ko napansin ko po na ang SUC ay hindi nyo napabilang. Requirement po din sa amin na mag-respond doon sa climate change, pero ang nangyayari kanya-kanyang sipa, kanya-kanyang sagwan, kanya-kanyang interpret din sa kung ano ang mayroon. So parang kung ito ay yung napakaganda ang inyong naging input at ang SUC siguro through CHED ay mabigyan ng holistic na input, how we're going to address. Tama po yun na site specific naman ang tugon natin dito sa climate change. Pero I think malaki ang magiging role ng mga SUC dahil sa bawat probinsya may SUC. Kung sila ay mabigyan ng gabay at makapag-act sila accordingly, I think mas malaki yung magiging input niya. Una, siya yung nire-respeto din sa mga locality in terms of expert kung matutulungan yung mga faculty to become an experts. And then, pupwede siya ma-bring down to the level ng estudyante. Sabi nga ni Sir Villarreal, yung susunod na generation, so yung aming mga estudyanteng mga college student are the next working generations if we only be part of and magiging makapacitate din yung mga nasa SUC. Yun lamang po. Marami pong salamat.
Thank you, Dr. Montin. Ano po, salamat po doon. Sige, we'll keep Romblon in mind. Romblon po ang isa sa mga isla na hindi ko pa doon lang po ako sa west side nakapunta, doon sa may mga pawikan. Pero hindi pa ako nakapunta sa buong isla. Sir Montin, para kami mga faculty kayo doon sa SUC doon, may scholarship po kami. Gusto nilang mag-aral ng masters ng marine science. Kontakin niyo po ako. Gusto ko kumuha ng mga estudyante galing doon. Mga faculty
Sige
na po
po.
sana
Sige lang,
para
sige lang.
madali nila ma-download.
Ayun po, napakaganda po talaga na bridging way po to. So, sir, sana po matuloy po ang inyo pong collaboration with Dr. David at mapangalagaan po ng maigi ang inyong bayan. Now, let's go to Doc M.
Magandang hapon sa lahat, enjoy ako sa topic ni Mama, kaya lang napapansin ko na every time na pag-usapan ng climate change, baha or ulan. And I think one of the impacts na nakakaligtaan natin ay sunog, wildfire. And look what happened to doon sa California recently, grabe ang nangyari doon. Kasing grabe ng yung impact ng flooding doon sa, was it in South Carolina recently or North Carolina? Now my tanong, ma'am, is mayroon bang paghahanda ng gobyerno in case na magkaroon ng wildfire? Usually sa summer. We're fortunate na wala pa yatang masyadong malaki. And ang nangyayari lang ay dito sa Metro Manila, yung mga sunog na sa mga bahay na Pero supposing magkaroon ng wildfire, malaking sunog doon sa rural places. During summer ay natutuyo ng husto ang vegetation. Mayroon bang paghahanda ng government in case na these things will happen, ma'am? Thank you.
Thank you, Doc. Ano po, pag hindi po kasi maalat, wala na akong sagot. Hindi ko po alam pag forest kung merong paghahanda ang government. Siguro our foresters here might have a better idea. Opo. Pero tama kayo, isa yun sa mga pwedeng mangyari sa atin na hindi namin na isasama. Meron po kaming drought maps, potential drought from Pag-asa in the different scenarios of the IPCC. And malaking lugar din po, karamihan nasa food baskets ng Philippines, ang may potential to suffer from less than 40% of the expected rainfall. So yun po ang alam namin. Pero pagdating sa forest fires, wala kaming alam na datos na available, and definitely wala akong alam kung may preparation for that.
O nga po, so, yes, sige po, sir.
Follow up or another question. Palaging naisasuggest yung education, information campaign among students or what. Ano kaya mamang level ng school or education na dapat ipasok itong information about climate change? Should it be sa elementary? Should it be sa high school? Or sa college? I think college medyo huli na, di ba? Medyo huli na. So busy na yung mga estudyante sa kanilang chosen field, engineering or what. So ano yung pinakamagandang antas na ipasok natin sa curriculum itong effect of climate change sa elementary or sa high school, ma'am?
I think sir, grade 4 pa lang dapat kasama na. Oo, kasi by grade 4 we start on experiments na simple experiments in science, diba? In the scientific method. So I think dun pa lang kasi the appreciation of averages, of seasonality, and then of changes, I think grade 4 kaya na yun eh. So dapat grade 4 pa lang. And then
Late,
throughout high school, all the way.
late na pag high school. Late na pag high school.
Opo.
Okay, sige. Thank you,
Mga
ma'am.
boyfriend-girlfriend na inaatupag pag high school, sir.
Saka ma'am, I think dapat malakas ang programa ng gobyerno na ma-expose ang population, lalo na yung mga bata, sa mga ganitong klaseng programa. Hindi po yung puro TikTok, puro Facebook. Ma'am, kasi technically ma'am, wala po siyang naibibigay na intellectual na ambag sa mga kabataan. Alam po natin yan.
Sir Mark, dalawin niyo yung TikTok namin. Meron naman.
Ay, yan. Maliban po doon, ma'am. Pero alam natin, yung mga kabataan po ngayon, ma'am, lumabas po kayo sa kalye. Yung mga bata, yung cellphone nasa kalye, tapos nagkasayaw-sayaw doon. Parang, what for? Now, let's go po kay Sir Ike.
Yeah, ma'am. I have an observation. Then I have a suggestion, no? Unang-una, sa experience ko sa mga LGU, ibang grupo yung gumagawa ng GIS, ibang grupo yung gumagawa ng CLUP. So parang hindi nila alam na yung GIS data pwedeng gamitin sa CLUP. Oo. As a matter of fact, yung GIS software ngayon, halos lahat compatible na. Napakadali na ng mag-data integration kahit anong brand. At yung mga LGU na walang pera, maraming GIS na open source. So sana maging advocacy yun na in preparation for the CLUP, dapat lahat gumagamit ng GIS. And to add to that, I'm sure you know, pag mayroon kang GIS data, even for tax mapping, isang layer na lang yung hazard mapping. At saka isang layer na lang yung traffic mapping, pati yung population mapping, no? Or yung sea level mapping, whatever. Okay? Secondly, hindi ko na-gets kanina, ano ang correlation ng mangrove sa coral? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sir, agree ako dun sa una nyo na dapat talaga yung offices on the ground who are doing GIS, yun din dapat ang mag-influence sa gumagawa ng CLUP. And definitely, yun yung sinusubukan, alam ko nila, Academician Mahar, lagmay sa Resilience Institute to actually, per LGU, make those data available. Pagdating po sa mangrove sa kasi coral, dalawa yan, sir. Si mangrove actually helps contain a lot of the sediment that comes from the watershed area. So pag us-us ng sediment, the root system of the mangrove, no? Hindi rhizophora, which are nakatingkayad, but the roots ng Avicennia and Soneraceae. Those actually keep a huge amount of sediment. Ang coral reef natin po ay symbiotic relationship yan between the coral animal and its zooxanthellae, an algae that needs clear water in order to keep the coral alive. So pag nagpunta yung sediment doon at nagtanggal ka ng mangrove at lalong umus-us yung sediment from their watershed, sira po yung coral. Kahit nakaano kaganda pa yung protection niya, pwede siyang masira just because of that. So mangroves actually protect corals. And then meron din po tinatawag na... Yes, sir, hindi dapat tinatanggal. Yes,
okay.
Definitely. And then there is also such a thing called ontogenetic shift. May mga isda po tayo na iba-ibang stage ng life nila, nagpupunta sila, pinapanak sila sa mangrove, pag medyo malaki pumupunta sa seagrass, nanginginain doon, pag mas malaki na pumupunta sa coral. And some of them even go all the way out. So sir, like lapu-lapu. Pag wala po yung tatlong habitat, pag walang mangrove, natanggal siya, or seagrass natanggal, or coral, hindi na po lumalaki yung lapu-lapu dun sa lugar na yun. So, importante din yung relationship nila pagdating sa food security na.
I see, ma'am. So kung tutuusin po, ma'am, para pong keystone species po pala ang ating mga mangrove. Naku po,
Yes po.
napaka-importante po pala talaga niya. So pag nawala po pala ang keystone species na yan, so everything down will be affected. Let's proceed po kay Margidote po sa ating chat box, and after po kay CM Serapika po tayo. So in your observation, ano po ang appetite ng mga students ngayon na undergrad or graduate level sa mga climate issues? Do you see interest lalo na po sa mga STEM tracks? And ma'am, i-bridge ko rin dito. So in this relation to potential scholarship, kasi baka merong courses wala naman interested students. So ma'am, sa palagay niyo po ma'am
Actually, sir,
sa...
ang nakikita
Apa.
namin, ay, Sir Mark, so for example, yung laro na Resilience, Survive and Thrive, so the entire Philippine Science High School systems, all campuses have used those in order to make the students realize the balance between development and climate change protection, no? Climate change resilience. So, nag-i-enjoy yung mga bata doon. So, kung masisimulan natin sa more interactive, I think, na mga activities, lalo na kung mas bata pa masisimulan, I think tuloy-tuloy naman ang interest ng Filipino kids. Ang mas kailangan kumbinsin, sir, actually hindi yung mga bata kasi they're interested. If you look at their social media, maingay sila about climate change. Ang kailangan po natin kumbinsin ay yung mga magulang no, na okay lang kung hindi medical doctor yung anak nila. Kung yun talaga gusto, good. Pero kung pinipilit nila maging engineer, nurse, medical doctor, at ayaw nilang maging scientist, yun sir ang sana hindi na nangyayari. Sana alam nila na kailangan din talaga ng bansa ng iba-ibang disiplin. Lalo na ng science at lalo ng marine science. Less than 500 kami sir na actively doing research in the marine environment of the Philippines. Less than 500 for a population of more than 100 million. So kulang na kulang kami.
Ako ma'am, share ko lang po to kasi meron po ako isang pamangkin na pinupush ko po talaga na maging kunin po niyang kurso sa BS is science related. Una pong tanong sa akin, ma'am, kuya, malaki po ang sweldo? Ayun po. So, medyo nahihirapan po ako sagutin yung aspeto po yun. Ang sabi ko lang po sa kanya, masaya at fulfilling ang trabaho ng scientist.
Ganito na lang, Sir Mark. Sabihin nyo, pag mayaman siya, saan niya gagamitin yung pera niya? Kasi kung sasagutin niya, gusto ko magbiyahe, gusto ko makapag-dive sa tubataha, gusto kong makatulong sa ibang tao, di ba? Pag mayaman ka. Lahat po yun pwede niya nang gawin as a marine scientist, binabayaran pa kayo.
Opo,
Ganun na lang,
ma'am.
sir.
Ako, ma'am. Actually, ma'am, ayun po ang aking pang-bola doon sa pamangkin ko po na eventually sana po is maging marine scientist. Now, let's proceed po kay CM Serapika. Yes, sir?
Okay, yeah, just wanted to add to what Laura said. Kasi there were studies in the US, Laura, and when STEM, I run a STEM foundation for the last 4 years, SISTEM, Center for Integrated STEM Education, funded by Unilab, no? We've rolled it out, that's part of the sustainability work we did in Siargao. But we also rolled out a plastic sustainability module for grade 5 that was funded by DAO. DAO gave us 2 million because they're trying to project the life cycle analysis of plastics. No? We implemented at grade 5, 8 schools, 900 students. After the summer training ng mga teachers, tinuro sa estudyante about life cycle of plastics. Lahat ng mga bata may sarili-sarili ng recycling sa kalye nila just to be able to implement. So clearly, being able to teach the teachers their students become. So the next stage of that, nagbigay ng pera ulit to put up the Green Chemistry Science Academy, wherein the teachers can now come to get taught on, this is, of course, life cycle analysis, green chemistry na. Ayan, lumalapit na tayo sa climate change. So clearly, to me, being able to intervene before grade 4, sana, grade 4 at the least, kasi sa US, you're competing with eyeballs already with social media at grade 4. So STEM is already being overtaken. TikTok na is becoming invasive also in that regard, but you can always STEMify the contents of those. Why go against the tide? If that's why they want to see the information, give it to them there. Kaya lang, kailangan natin pag-aralan. Tayong matatanda, hindi natin alam paano gawin yon. We have kids that can influence that. So most of my people in system are actually 20s and 30s with it, implement. But really, they're teachers at the end of the day. They're teaching teachers to become more experts. But that the modules were curated by sila Pintonet, sila Toby Dairit. So, ganun din siguro ang kailangan natin gawin for you. For climate change, get you on Mahar, create the modules on how to teach climate change, different aspects, different regions, depending on what region you are, and start it for implementation. Look for a foundation in this case. But this is where I wanted to involve nga yung mayayaman. Since binanggit mo na rin lang. Yung mga mismong nakatira doon na may kaya. Sa syudad nila, gusto niyo bang, bakit kayo nandito sa Siargao? Maganda environment, parang Barangay Boracay. Yan, putting up a restaurant, putting up a hotel. Would you like to at least find a teacher that will teach climate change sustainability and being able to influence our kids living in the area to protect our environment so that it will not go away. So mga ganong klaseng advocacy ang kailangan na, and it can go down on the down level. We form inclusive innovation councils, no, for the regional development councils for the science input. But again, a lot on the commercialization, of course, that's my area. But there's no reason why you can't put in on climate change that. So again, there are RDs of sila Rowan sa Iloilo. They can easily put it in. Know that that's your advocacy and your Mahar, so of course, very close with me in UP at PPBDO. Sige, buuin natin. Pero sa akin talaga, I'm also very focused on the education. And you're right, you need to intervene at grade 4, grade 5. You need to find like-minded individuals the same way Dow was for it. We can find somebody. We'll talk about sino ba yung mga gusto magpondo. We'll train the teachers, do the same model for innovation for climate change and sustainability for klima. And then the Klima Towns ladies can definitely lunch and tell them all about it. Pero importante, meron tayong material na may bibigay sa mga teachers. But that's another subject. When I see you, mag-usap tayo dyan. Salamat.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you po. So ngayon po, babasahin ko po itong last message po sa ating Q&A box. So sabi po ni Miss Sandra Victoria Arcamo, Ma'am Lau, miss din daw po niya kayo. So this is not a question but a suggestion. Ang DHSUD ay may hawak ng guide to the formulation of CLUP. Nag-input naman kami doon with DENR para masama naman ang mga municipal waters at mga aligned din sila sa requirement ng Fisheries Code. Kaya natanong ko kasi may annual search for the cleanest and most productive coastal LGU with substantial fund award and DA-BIFAR. Makakatulong sana sa kanila ang mga projects na gaya sa inyo para doon sa funds na mapanalunan nila kasi low priority talaga ang sustainable environmental development sa LGU budget. So
Yes,
yung
Ma'am
po.
Sandy, we will take note of that.
So yung po, mabalik lang po ako doon sa sinasabi po ni CM Serapica when it comes to education. Malaki din pong bagay, I think, is yung pag-inculcate din po nito sa ating kultura. Kasi tanda ko po nung bata ako, kahit po sa music, kasama po ang kalikasan, yung song na kalikasan, yung song na Ibong Pipit, and then yung bata po ako, yung song po ng Anak ng Pasig. So ayun po kasi nag-a-amplify po yun eh. Marinig mo sa radyo, marinig ng bata, kakantahin, magiging part po ng kanilang kamalayan. So sana po bumalik po yung panahon na yun.
Sir, in-age mo na sarili mo. Alam ko na ko ilang taong.
Ma'am, alak lang Pasig po. Yeah po. So ngayon po, let's proceed po sa ating mga panelists and attendees. Meron pa po ba tayong mga questions? Ayun po, kapaligiran po pala, sabi ni Sir, hindi po kalikasan. So, sorry po. So, yun po, meron pa po. Ayun, Sir Ike.
Suggestions. Kanina, pinakita mo yung mga slides mo. maraming mga celebrity, private sector, no? Pero talagang ewan ko ba, kahit anong gawin natin, kulang pa rin talaga sa awareness. Hindi pumapasok sa public mind Actually ako, napapansin ko, sinusulat ko ito, pero kaunti lang nagre-react. Mas maraming nagre-react pagka ang subject politika. So, I don't know what we can do to make this more palatable or more sexy kaya. Or takutin na lang ang mga tao. But nonetheless, I'm not giving up. Marami naman. I'm glad you're doing what you can. But aside from telenovela, kailangan din talagang i-maximize ang social media Halimbawa, YouTube, Facebook Stories. Ako, I'm willing to help, no? Ang limitation ko lang lagi, sponsors, no? Kung mayroon kang sponsors, I have a lot of people who can volunteer for the production para mas maraming content, no? And I'm sure kung mayroon ng content, marami ding media space na pwedeng kunin for free. Like me, marami akong makukuhang libreng space sa mga provincial newspapers. I have 30 newspapers carrying my column. Pwede kong ipakiusap yun kasi di naman ako naniningil. But I need material, I need content. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Ike. We'll definitely be in touch.
Okay.
Okay po. So, to wrap up po the program, meron pa po ba tayong panghuling question? Suggestions or inquiries? Naku po. So, maraming salamat po sa pagpapaunlak po sa amin. Ay, nakalimutan ko po. Ma'am Luli, meron po kayong gustong sabihin?
Ay,
Naku po, wala po si ma'am.
Wala nga.
Ayan po si sa babae. Ayan po. But anyways po, isa lang po masasabi ko sa programa na ito.
Hello.
Ayun po, yes po ma'am.
Sorry, kasi I'm using a cellphone. Nag-travel pa. Kararating ko lang from Manila, no? And maraming salamat, Laura. Despite yung heavy schedule niya, di ba, na-postpone natin ito and tapos mabuti natuloy ngayon. Talagang napaka-importante nitong sinabi ni Laura David ngayon. At siguro mga bata pwede na ring pag-recess patugtugin ng mga songs na tungkol sa klima, tungkol sa environment. Yung kahit subconsciously habang naglalaro sila, nadidinig nila yon. Subliminal.
Yes, so I think ma'am, kailangan po magkaroon po ng parang curriculum ang government na isama po sa DepEd, yung mga pagpapalabas ng ganun po, ipa-flash po sa screen kapag po break po ng mga estudyante.
Pero nakikita ko rin ang pangangailangan ng edukasyon ng mga magulang. Kasi para magbigay ng example sa mga bata.
Tama po.
Yun lang. Maraming salamat, Lau. And
Thank you, ma'am.
Ito po, gusto ko lang pong humingi ng paumanhin sa ating pong mga manonood. Nagkakaroon po kasi ako ng maliit na technical issue kasi ang aking pong laptop ay 7 years old na po. But anyways po, to wrap things up po, dalawang bagay lang po ang masasabi ko po. Una-una po, ang climate change po ay totoo. Hindi po siya agam-agam. Hindi po natin siya masolve kasi isa siyang napakalaking global issue. na mag-isa. Pero may solusyon po namang inilatag ang ating panauhin. Mga solusyon na hawak po ng ating kamay. Taniman ng bundok, isalba ang mangrove, conserve our resources. And pangalawa po, malaki po ang role ng social media para po magkaroon po ng crucial change. So nasa atin po, bata, matanda, na gamitin po siya and harness its potential and power. So with that case, maraming salamat po sa inyong pakikinig at sa pagsama po sa amin ngayong hapon. At muli niyo po kami samahan next week sa isa na naman pong topic dito po sa The Filipino SDG Action Hour. And you enjoy the rest of the week. Bye now.
Bye-bye. But the sound?
Ayan po. So maraming salamat po sa sumama po sa amin and ngayong hapon and see you again next week.